Hey everyone and welcome back to PrepFusion. So in this video we will solve all the uh, questions that were asked in gate IN, gate XE, gate CH and gate CS from gate 2026, right? Just like the exam happened like 2 days back, and we have brought the solutions of all those memory based questions from engineering mathematics. So yeah, we will start off like timestamps are provided for each branches. So if you are enjoying this initiative, make sure you hit the like button. And I just wanted to give you few analysis. What can you expect in the upcoming shifts, right? In EEC or DA branch and something like that. So what I observed, like that the questions for differential equations were more. Now this might happen because XC and CH branch, they have higher weightage of differential equation. That might be the case, right? But I observed more differential equation questions. So maybe you can revise differential equations. Maybe you can just solve the PYQs. That also is enough, right? 1 2 PYQs, or just revise your notes, or you can watch my RPYQ video, right? So if you watch my RPYQ video, that also will be enough for your revision. Second point, uh, I will say 80% of the questions, right? 80% of the questions are simple and easy. Few questions, 20% of the questions are either moderate or tough. So that is a trend that I observe for mathematics in the first two shifts. Now, can we predict anything for the next two? That is this Saturday and Sunday? No, unfortunately, no. But what I can do is you can have bit of patience, right? So, like what I will tell to you is, if you go to the exam hall next week, right? Have bit of patience. Have bit of patience, because most of the questions are easy, and if you are able to solve the easy questions, you will certainly get a good enough gate score to get something good out of it, right? Either if you want to go to PSU or MTech, you will get something good out of it. So just have your patience and try to at least solve the easy questions. If you solve the easy questions, your job is done, you're good to go. So there were few moderate questions. That those questions are basically, moderate ones are basically for the rank decider. If you want to get a very good rank, right, then you have to obviously solve the moderate questions as well. But trust me, have bit of patience. If you're able to solve the easy questions, you're good. Now if you want more practice, right, you can just revise the, if you can just do the PYQs, right, or watch my RPYQ video, right? We have the RPYQ playlist, there you can watch it. Okay, so let's start with the first branch, that is instrumentation. So let's begin with gate IN paper. This question is the only question from gate IN that I feel is pretty good. Other than that, remaining questions were mostly on the easier side. So there are two ways to solve this question. First, I will solve it using the normal differential equation method that we study. So this will click to you in the exam hall, this method. The next method may not click to you, but this method will certainly click. So you see a higher order differential equation. What do? You simply know the forms, right, of the differential equation. You find out the roots of the auxiliary equation. So you form the auxiliary equation. It is nothing but d square plus 1 into x equal to 0, where this is your auxiliary equation. So this will only have complementary function because its particular integral, this side is 0, right? So here, if I see the roots are plus minus iota. That means you have complex conjugate roots, and whenever you have complex conjugate roots, do you remember what was your form? What was your solution of the complementary function? It was e raised to power alpha t c1 sin t, c1 sin t plus c2 cos t. Now in this case alpha is 0, right? There is no real part, so alpha is 0. So this will be c1 sin t. This will be the same thing only, right? I'll just copy and paste this thing. Cool. So we got our x of t. Now one more information is given to us, that all the initial condition is not given, but they have told you that x of 0 is not equal to 0. So if x of 0 is not equal to 0, what does it mean? It basically means that your if I put x of 0, this will be c1 into 0 sin 0 is 0 only, that is c2 into cos 0, that is 1, equals to not equal to 0. So c2 is certainly not equal to 0. c1 can be any value, right? c1 can be anything, but c2 is not equal to 0. That constraint was given to me in the example. So let me solve it for the simplified case. I can solve it for the difficult case as well, where I will not assume any value for c1, but as c1 can be anything, I can assume c1 to be 0, because they have not provided any limitation on c1. So if I assume c1 to be 0, what will happen? If c1 is 0, then your x of t would be c2 into cos of t, right? Now here I am stuck. Let me go back to the options. In the options, what they are doing, they are taking the absolute value and then they are squaring it, right? So if they are taking the absolute value first, then squaring it, or if I write this, if I square my number first and then take the absolute value, will these be same or not? Will this be equals to this? Yes, only in this case, because my x of t is real and it's a single quantity, right? Okay, this will be same. How can you verify? So simply you do a number, you take any number for x of t, right? You assume -3, then absolute value, then square. This will be what, 9? Or if you first uh, square -3, right? First you square -3 and then take the absolute value. This also will be 9. So it does not make any difference, right? So we can square it actually. So actually squaring any real number, right? If I take the absolute value, it will not make any difference. So I can remove this mod sign, remove this absolute value sign. I don't like this. Okay. So I will remove it, right? So this first option is telling me to square the derivative of x of t and then add with the square of x of t. That should be a constant. Let us see. So what is dx of dt? It is c2 minus c2 into sin t. So if I square these two numbers, this will be x of t whole square plus dx of t by dt whole square, correct? So this will be nothing but c2 square cos square t plus c2 square sin square t, which is nothing but c2 only, because I can take the c2 square common, c2 square only. So it will be cos square t plus sin square t, that is equal to c2, and I can assume this to be a constant c. So this first option is certainly correct. What about this one? This is automatically incorrect. It is not a function of time. We have just proven it, right? Here, again, not a function of time. Will it be 0? No, it cannot be 0. It cannot be 0. Why it cannot be 0? Because they have specifically mentioned to me that c2 is not equal to 0. c2 is not equal to 0. So if c2 is not equal to 0, c2 square will not be equal to 0. So this will not be equal to 0. That's it. So this is the main crux of this question, right? That's how you will solve it. Now, again, your homework, you can assume your c1 to be not equal to 0. Still, your answer will come out to be c1 square plus c2 square. Why? Because few terms will be cancelled. You will solve it, right? You will square this number, you will differentiate this, then you will square the differentiation, you will square the x of t, you will get the same value. Okay, we'll see that it is coming out to be this value, c1 square plus c2 square. That is again a constant, because c2 is not equal to 0, right? This will be again a constant, not a function of time. Now what was the method 2, sir, you are talking about? Yes, method 2 is this. This is the method 2. Now this is not intuitive and this may not click to you in the exam hall. This is only for those guys who are very good in mathematics and they know certain methods to solve a question. So this is the equation, right, that is given to me. D square x of t upon dt square plus x of t equals to 0. Now we will do something. We will multiply by dx dt on both sides. This will be d square, so this will copy, paste here, and I will multiply by dx dt on both sides. So this also will be multiplied. Correct? And this is equals to 0 on the right hand side. 0 times anything will be 0 only. So yeah, this is good. Now what else I want to do? So this, right, this particular thing is actually something very special. What is it? So if I say, what is this? 1 by 2 d of dt of d of xt d of xt upon dt whole square. What is this? Can you solve this? So I'm differentiating with respect to time this function. So this will be, if I apply the chain rule, it is nothing but the chain rule, right? So first I will differentiate the outside function. This is nothing but a square function. So the power will come at the starting and the power will be reduced by 1. So this will be 2 dx t of dt, right? So 2 will be cancelled. 2 will be cancelled. Next what? Then I will differentiate the inside function. So if I differentiate dxt by dt with respect to t, this will be d square x of t by dt square. Correct? So are you seeing something, observing something? This term and this term are the same. So actually this, right, is same as this. So we can do that. So I can write this in place of the first term. Cool. Okay. So now what do you do? Now you can integrate with respect to dt. Okay, not dt actually, sorry. Now you can multiply by dt on both sides, right? Dt will be cancelled. What will be left? So you have d of this number, right? You can multiply by dt on both sides. You have d of this number plus x of t can come at the starting, x of dx equal to 0. I do agree this is not that intuitive. That's why I told you this as the second method, not as the first one, right? Okay. So now you integrate both sides. If you integrate both sides, this is nothing but, like, if I say what is the integration of dx, it will be x, right? Here also it will be x only, right? It will be this. Okay, so this will be 1 by 2 dx. Okay, let me copy this. It's this value only, right? Let me copy this. And this will be what? The second term will be x square by 2, and this is nothing but constant of integration, right? Constant of integration, that is c. Correct? So this is constant of integration, that is c. Now we got our answer, right? We got our answer. So if I multiply by 2 on both sides, you will see you're getting the same equation, this equation only, right? You're getting this equation only. If you multiply by 2 on both sides, you will get this equation. So both ways works, but I would prefer the first one because that is more intuitive and that will click to you in the exam hall. In the exam hall, this second method may not click to you, right? That's why I told this later. So in this question, this was a MSQ actually. This was a MSQ, but only single option was correct. So MSQ, single option can be correct. This was one of the good questions from IN examination. Remaining were pretty simple and straightforward. So this was the second question that we got. So you have to tell the number of solutions of this particular system of equations. I don't think like you will need much help from me because you already know. So for this, what you have to do? So there were a few options. It was MCQ. Like there was option of 0, there was a infinitely many solutions, then there was 6, and then there was 1, right? 1 basically means you have unique solutions. 0 means no solutions. Infinitely many solution means infinitely many solutions. So bottom line is you have to find out the rank of A. If the rank of A is equals to number of variables, that is n, in this case it is 3, then certainly you will either have you will actually you'll have unique solutions, correct? You will have unique solutions. Okay, that is the first thing. I'm just giving you the revision main crux. Okay, I hope you know all these things. If your rank of A comes out to be less than, if your rank of A comes out to be less than 3, then what does it mean? It basically means that you either have infinitely many solutions or you have zero solutions, no solution, basically no. So infinitely many solutions, when does it happen? When your rank of A and your rank of A colon B both are equal, and in this case your rank of A and A colon B are not equals to each other, right? So let's check. First of all, let us compute the rank of A. So if I just calculate the determinant, I will get to know whether this is a full rank matrix or it is not a full rank matrix, right? Then I will come back to the row echelon form. I will do all that, but I'm comfortable more with determinant. So first I will do it. So let me simplify this, right? Let me make rows of zeros. So I see that one column is zero. Here in this particular first column, I see this is negative, right? So I can add these two rows. If I add these two rows, I will get a zero here, correct? So that I will do. So my A matrix, if I add row 1 and row 2, so this will be 0, this will be 1, this will be 2, this will be minus 1, 1, this will be 0, this will be 0, 1, 2. So now I can find the determinant. This will be minus into minus of 1 into 1 into 2 minus 2. So this comes out to be 0. So the determinant is coming out to be 0. Then certainly either I will have no solution or infinitely many solution, because then the rank will be less than 3, right? If the determinant is coming out to be less than the number, if the determinant is coming out to be 0, that means it is not a full rank matrix, then rank will be less than 3. That is certain. Okay. So if it is less than 3, then let me write the row echelon format, right? Let me write the row echelon format. Okay. Just give me 1 second. Yeah. So if I write the row echelon format, A matrix is what? This, right? Is 1, 0. So you can solve it faster as well. I'm just solving it slowly because I want to explain stuff here. 0, minus 1, 0, 1, and this will be 0, 1, 2. Then, okay, we'll have here what? We'll have the B, right? B matrix, that is 1, 3, and 0. Cool. So now, what can I do? So what I can do is I can subtract this row from the last row. If I do that, this will be 1, 0, 2, minus 1, 1, 0. This will be minus 1. This will be 1. This will be 0. This will be 1, 3, and minus 1. Okay. And then what you can do, you can simply subtract this row from this row. Okay. So if you do that, you will see you are getting 0, 1, 0, 2. This is minus 1, 1, 0. This is 3. And this is 0, 0, 0. But this is actually minus 4. Okay. So what do you observe? You're getting a row of 0 in the A matrix, but in the augmented matrix you're not getting a row of 0, right? It is non-zero. So that means rank of A colon B, that is the rank of augmented matrix, is 4, but rank of A is actually 3, right? So that's why you will have no solutions. That's why 0 will be the answer. Okay, no solutions, 0 would be the answer of this question. Let's solve this one. This one was simple but bit tricky. Okay, so you have been given f of xy. Generally, this kind of question does not come, but this came. So you have been given f of xy and you have to identify if f of xy equals to 1, which of the curves will satisfy it. Which of the curves represent this equation f of xy equals to 1. So what do? You put f of xy equals to 1. So you put here equals to 1. So if I put in the equation x square plus y square minus 2xy equals to 1, what will I get? It will be x minus y whole square equals to 1. Right? So it will be x minus y equals to plus minus 1 because I can take the under root on both sides. Correct? This can be written as plus minus 1 whole square. Right? So that's how we got x minus y equals to plus minus 1. So x minus y equals to plus minus 1. So x minus y would be either equals to 1 or x minus y would be equals to minus 1. Right? So option B and C are correct for this question. Many students will be confused by the circle, right? Circle, when it is circle, when equation is something like this, x square plus y square equals to 1 square, or x square plus some 2x or any constant number, right? I don't care whatever this constant number is, gx plus cy plus y square equals to any random number r square, which is all where my g, c and r are all constants. Okay, g, c and r square, if all these are constants, this represents an equation of circle. But if radius is 1, that means this has to be equals to 1. That's it. But here, right, we have this xy term. So if you have xy term, then this will not be equation of circle. Can it be equation of ellipse? So ellipse equation is this, right? X square plus a square plus y square plus b square equals to 1. So no, there is no xy term here in ellipse as well. So that's why this will not be ellipse, this will not be circle. These two will be the correct answer for this question. Let's solve the next question. Like, this is like a very basic question. So they have given you that a box contains 3 apples and 2 oranges. So if a box contains 3 apples and 2 oranges, if 2 fruits are selected at random without replacement, right? We are not replacing them, and find the probability that the first fruit selected is apple. So what is the probability to get an apple in the first selection? How many apples I have? 3. How many fruits I have? 5. Then in the second fruit selection, I should get an orange. So how many oranges I have left? 2 in the box. 1 has been taken out, that is apple. How many fruits I have left in the box? 4, because 1 has been taken out. So this will be like, it is very simple. I don't even want to solve this, but that's fine. This is 2 oranges, 2 by 4. Yes. So this will be 6 by 20. That is nothing but 0.3. So 0.3 would be your answer for this question. Like, I don't want to spend much time. This again, not super difficult, very simple. If you draw the graph, you'll be able to solve this in like a minute. So the function that is given to you, that is f of x equals to x mod x, and you have to comment about the continuity, discontinuity, all these things. So in this case, you properly write the definition of the function for x greater than 0 and x less than 0, because your absolute value mod sign is there. So x greater than 0, your mod of x will be replaced with x. So this will be x square for x greater than 0, and mod of x will be equals to minus x, right? That is minus x square for x less than 0. Correct? So that is your f of x. Let me plot the graph. So the graph would be somewhat like this, that for positive x, this will be the graph f of x square. The x square is very simple, right? But negative x, it would have been like this if the graph was x square, but it is minus of x square, right, for negative values. So just invert it about the x axis. Correct? Inversion, that's it. So graph will be somewhat like this, that's it. So what are they talking about? They're talking about the continuity and discontinuity, right? I don't remember whether they were talking about x equal to 0 or they're talking about the whole region, although it does not matter. So is it continuous everywhere? Yes. Is it differentiable? what needs to happen for a function to be differentiable? There should not be a sudden change. If I see, no, the slope does not change suddenly, right? Slope is always changing continuously. It is not changing suddenly. So this kind of graph, in this kind of graph, if you see the slope just left is something negative and just the right of 0, it is something positive, right? Slope changes abruptly. In these kind of cases, the function is not differentiable. Although it is continuous, but it is not differentiable. But it is certainly differentiable. Now this is one way with the graph, but again mathematically also you can see, you can equate the left hand derivative and the right hand derivative, right? So if I differentiate this function f of x, f dash of x, this will be 2x x greater than 0 and minus 2x when x less than 0. So if you see, there is a bit of discontinuity in the derivative function at x equal to 0. Otherwise, it is continuous. The definition is always continuous. Either it is 2x or minus 2x. So for positive values, it is 2x and x is a continuous function. So this will be continuous and minus 2x also will be continuous. No problems. Only around x equal to 0, there can be problems. The definition of the function changes. So we will check only at x equal to 0 because the definition of the function changes at x equal to 0. At x equal to 0, what does this say? This says that my left hand derivative, sorry, right hand derivative is 0. If I put x equal to 0 in this equation, what does this definition say? What is my, this is my right hand derivative, correct? What is my left hand derivative? If I put x equal to 0, this also will be 0. So my right hand derivative is equals to my left hand derivative. That means the function, the derivative function is continuous, and if the derivative function is continuous, that means my function f of x is differentiable, right? So there are many ways to solve this. So option would be continuous and differentiable, both. This function is continuous and differentiable. This one again pretty simple, like you have to use the Cauchy residue theorem, that's it, right? 2 line, maximum 2-3 lines question. So in this case, you have been given fz and you have to evaluate the closed contour integral of fz by z minus 1, where c is the closed contour that encloses the point z, z equals to 1 plus j, z equals to 1 plus j, correct? So yeah, pretty simple, right? So z equals to 1 lies in the contour. So z, although I can see directly here that z equals to 1 is a singular pole. So do you remember what is the answer for this? If it is basically limit as z tends to the pole, that is z equals to 1, z minus 1 into fz, this is equals to the value of the function, right? Limit z minus 1 fz, this is equals to my residue, right, r, and your answer would be, this integration answer would be, I would be 2 pi j into r, correct? So this would be equals to, if I multiply by z minus 1, it will be simply limit, because I'm multiplying by this function, right? So okay, you might be confused, what is fz, sorry, you have to use this whole function, okay? Use this whole function. So this will be basically fz by z minus 1, okay? That's how the z minus 1 gets cancelled, and ultimately you have to find your residue would be value of this at z equals to 1, that's it, correct? So I hope you remember, right? Whatever was here, we used to write it, and we used to write limit multiplied by the that pole location, correct? Like these are all revision, I'm not explaining you the concept. So yeah, if I put z equals to 1, this will be 1 plus 1 plus 1, that is 3. So residue is 3, simply your integration value would be 2 pi j into 3, that is 6 pi j. Pretty straightforward and simple. So those were all the iron questions. Now we will solve the XC questions. Sorry. So now let's solve the next question. This is the 7th question. So all these answer keys were uploaded just like 2 days back in our channel for IN, and we were able to find 7 questions. Generally they ask 8 questions from maths. We were able to find 7 questions. I don't know if there are more questions from maths only, but like in PrepFusion you will always get the most accurate and updated solutions and answer keys. That is our task basically. So even if we are delayed by few hours, but we try to provide the most information that is possible to from our end to our students, right? So that they can benefit most out of it. So yeah, this is the 7th question. Pretty simple. P is a 3 cross 3 matrix, and which satisfies this equation. Which of the following represents the correct set of eigenvalues? So basically, you'll have to see which eigenvalue satisfies this equation. Correct. Now there are many ways to solve this. First one is the most simplest one, that if they're telling you that 1 is an eigenvalue, then we can use the reverse Cayley-Hamilton theorem, that if the matrix satisfies this equation, then its eigenvalue also satisfies the same equation. That is, if I replace P with lambda, so this will be lambda cube, while lambda is an eigenvalue, 4 lambda square plus 5 lambda minus 2. Why 2? Because the eigenvalue of I is 1. That's why 2. Now you put this value, right? You put lambda equals to 1. If I put lambda equals to 1, this will be 1 minus 4, that is minus 3, plus 5, that is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. Okay, 1 is satisfying. What about 3? If I put 3 here, what will happen? This will be 27 minus 9 into 4, that is 36, plus 15 minus 2, right? So this will be 25 plus 5, that is 30, 40, 40, that is 4. Okay, so 4 is obviously equal to 0. That is not correct. So lambda equals to 3 is not satisfying, so 3 is not an eigenvalue, so this option is gone. 1 is correct, but is 1 only the eigenvalue, right? So let me keep it as hold. This can be correct. Let me keep it as hold. Okay, what about 1 and 2? If I see that 1 is satisfying, what about 2? So 2 would be 8 minus 4 into 2 square, that is 4 into 4, plus 10 minus 2, right? So this will be 16 minus 2, that is 14. Hold on, 2 square, yeah, plus 10 minus 2i, this is 2 cube. Okay, so 18 minus 18, right? That is equal to 0. So this is satisfying. So of course all these will satisfy, but which one will you choose? So if you look closely, they've asked you which one represents the correct set of eigenvalue. Set means only these two will be eigenvalues, or only this will be eigenvalue. That means if 1 is included, right? Actually the options are not proper. There can be 3 ones, right? 3 ones, and all these 3 can be eigenvalue. But is it correct? So for that you will need a bit more concepts. If you remember, the coefficient of this term, right, the second term, if I write them in proper order, this represents the negative of sum of my eigenvalues, this term. So if you say that all eigenvalues are 1, that means sum of this will be equals to negative of this number. Is this adding up to 1? Is this adding up to 4? Negative of this? No. So this is not correct solution. Here also you can see, right? Anyways, this is wrong, but here also you can verify. Is this adding up to 4? No, not correct solution. Here they are saying you 1 and 2 are my set of eigenvalues. So actually this is a third order equation, right? 3 cross 3 matrix. So of course you will have 3 eigenvalues. So either it can be 1, 1, 2, or it can be 1, 2, 2. Correct? So if I look at this particular set, yes, the sum is getting to 4. So this is a possible answer. We will verify it further. Don't worry. But this certainly is not a possible answer, because if I add, I will get 5, which is not correct. I should get 4. Here also, if you say that 2 is your eigenvalue, like 2 includes the set of eigenvalues, that means you are saying that I can have all 2's, right? Only that is a possibility, because this will have 3 eigenvalues and all of them are 2. Is that possible? No. If all of them are 2, your sum will come out to be 6, which is again not correct. Sum should be 4. Now, if you remember the last term, right? This last term, you should represent the determinant. How do I remember the sign? So, how do you remember the sign? Sign, this is plus, this is minus, this is plus, this is minus. So, what happens if it is a third order equation? So, I will explain you the second order equation as well. So, if I have a second order equation, right? Let's say p square plus ap plus b into I equal to 0. So, again I will write plus minus plus. So, what does this represents? So, negative a will be the sum of my eigenvalues, and this is plus only, right? So, plus b will be equals to the product of my eigenvalues, where b is basically nothing but the determinant of my p. Correct? So, I hope you remember these things. So, if I increase the order, right, p cube plus a p square plus bp plus ci equal to 0, then what will happen? Then this will be plus minus plus minus. So, here this will be what? Minus of a will be equals to sum of eigenvalue, and plus of b would be equals to, okay, this, right, I will not explain. This is nothing but the sum of product of the eigenvalues. Okay, so this will be basically, so here I have plus, right? So this plus b would be equals to lambda 1 lambda 2 plus lambda 2 lambda 3 plus lambda 3 lambda 1, and this particular term is actually equals to, so negative sign is there, right? Negative sign. So minus of c is actually equals to the product of my eigenvalues, that is nothing but lambda 1 lambda 2 lambda 3. So these are important properties, that's how you can remember. So without even putting the values, actually lambda, right? I know this will click to you first, but without even putting all these values, you can directly check, okay, through these properties. So if we apply the properties, if you see here, the product should come out to be 2, minus of minus 2 is 2, and only this option is satisfying this. Correct? So obviously option C will be the correct answer for this question. So those were all the iron questions. Now we will solve gate XC questions. A random variable x has the following probability density function. The expected value of x of the random variable. It's very simple. So if you have to find out the expected value of x, it would be equals to, e of x would be equals to integration from minus infinity to plus infinity x of f of x dx. Correct? So pretty straightforward, pretty simple. So we can break down this integration, because it is 0 if x is less than 1 or greater than 2. Correct? So sorry, less than 0 or greater than 2. So only this integration I have to compute from 0 to 2, and there also I can break it down. So from 0 to 1, the definition of my PDF function is this. Correct? So we'll replace this with e minus 1 is to minus x, and x is obviously there, x will be there, dx. Correct? This plus 1 to 2 1 by 2 x dx. So this will be equals to, okay, so this is nothing but a constant, right? So this can be actually outside of integration, you don't have to worry about it. Correct? So ultimately you have to solve this. Now how will I solve this? So you can use the DI method. I hope you remember DI method. This I have taught in my full course. So this is my DI. Like there are many ways you can use Eilert rule or whatever you want to solve. Up to you. DI method. So this will be differentiated. Minus e raised to power x. This will be 1. Again. So I will go until I get 0. Right? Sorry. Actually. Sorry. So d will be here. This I will differentiate and this I will integrate. Sorry. So I will go till I get 0. So again if I differentiate, I will get 0 here, and again if I integrate this, this will be e raised to power minus x only. So your integration answer will be this. Okay, for the guys who don't know, either you study differential calculus from me in the RPYQ course as well, I have covered this, or you can search what is DI method, you'll get to know about it. So this will be, this integration would be x, so this will be plus minus plus, so this is with plus x into minus of e raised to power minus x, so this will be actually minus e raised to power minus x, then minus 1 into e raised to power minus x, so minus 1 into e raised to power minus of x, right? This is the integration basically, and then I will put the limits 0 to 1, plus this would be x square divided by 2, so this would be x square divided by 4, and the limits are 1 to 2. Now pretty straightforward, all you have to do is put the limits. So if I put x equal to 1, this will be minus, okay, don't forget there is a constant as well, correct? There is a constant, this is a constant that is there from the starting itself, correct? So cool. If I put x equal to 1, this would be, I'll copy this, this will be there, no worries. What else will be there? This also, if I put x equal to 1, this will be zero minus, if I put x equal to 0, this will be anyways 0, this will be minus 1, right? Minus of minus 1, that will actually become plus, that's fine. Okay, and what about this one? This will be nothing but 2 square minus 1 square, so 4 minus 1, that is 3 by 4. What about this side? So this will be 2 e divided by 2 into e minus 1 into minus 2 minus 1 plus 1, correct? So I can write as this, that this will be basically 1 minus 2 by e, correct? Okay, plus 3 by 4, so this will be e will be cancelled, this will be e minus 2 divided by 2 into e minus 1 plus 3 by 4. So you will have to use a calculator, right? You will have to use a calculator. So let's use the calculator in this case. So this will be e minus 2 divided by e minus 1 divided by 2, so plus 3 divided by 4. Okay, so your answer would come out to be 0.96. 0.96. Bit calculative, that's it. Otherwise the question was pretty straightforward and simple to solve. Evaluate the line integral along the circle C, this in the counterclockwise direction. So this is a continuous and differentiable function, so we can use the Gauss theorem, sorry, Green's theorem. We can use the Green's theorem. So what does Green's theorem tell me? That I will solve in this. If it is counterclockwise, right, that is it is along my direction. So if I go dx, dy, dz, I will go in this direction, right? So the solution of this, if I assume this to be m, and if I assume this to be n, will be, because it is a closed line integration using Green's theorem, this will be del n of del x minus del m of del y. How do I remember whether x or y will come first? This dx then dy. So if you want to write dy first, then dz should come. So dy dz, right? That's how I remember the whether this will come first or this will come first, right? Dx coming first and then dy comes, then negative sign, and it is in counterclockwise direction, so this is proper. If it was in anticlockwise, so if they are mentioning in counterclockwise, right? So this is x, this is y, right? So if I go in the counterclockwise direction, I start from x, I go into y. So first I'm starting with x, then I'm reaching y, right? That's why x first, then y. This is just a way to remember the formula. That's it. So if I differentiate this with respect to x, that would be minus 2. This particular term with respect to x, that would be minus 2, and this particular term with respect to y, that would be minus of minus 3, right? Then double integration dx dy, this would be equals to 1. Basically 1 dx dy, this is nothing but the area, right? Area of the circle. Okay, area of the circle. This is a circle with radius 5, because this is 5 square, and center 1 comma 0. I don't care about that. I care about the radius because I have to calculate the area of the circle, which is nothing but pi r square. So r is 5, so this will be 25 pi. So 25 pi will be your answer for this question. Pretty straightforward and simple. Let's solve this one. Now this one is, I will say, bit branch specific. So other branch students, if they're not able to solve this, it's fine. Don't worry about it. So let L be a lamina that is defined bounded by this particular curve. The surface density of the lamina is this. Then what will be the mass of the lamina? So branch specific, they know, like your mass would be density integration with dx dy. Okay, that is how you calculate the mass. How do you know? So basically, right, it is nothing but the volume formula, z dx dy. Okay, if you don't know it, don't worry about it. If you don't know it, don't worry about it. Okay, branch specific. So yeah, so your density function is given and limits are also given, the curves are given, right? So your density function is mod of x y into dx dy. So if I plot x and y, if I plot x and y, this would be, so y would vary from 0 to 4, y would vary from 0 to 4, correct? So y equal to 0 is this line, and y equals to 4 is this line, correct? And what is this? X square plus 4y square equals to 64. So this is nothing but the equation of, kind of equation of an ellipse, right? So x square plus y square divided by 1 by 2 whole square. Okay, so equation of ellipse, that is less than 64. So this is nothing but okay, this is nothing actually, not even 4 square. This is 4 root 2 whole square. 4 root 2 whole square, yes. No, 8 square, sorry, 8 square. Okay, so this is 8 square. Now the ellipse would be something like this, right? So we have to, so ellipse is something like this, correct? But we only care about the top part because we have to calculate the area bounded by it, right? So we are only interested in this region because we have to include the y equal to 0 and y equals to 4 line as well. So we're interested in the area in this region. So what is happening? If you observe, your graph is symmetrical. Your graph is symmetrical. So what will be this curve? So if I rewrite this equation, right, properly, this will be x square is equals to, for now I will just solve the equality, 64 minus 4y square. So x would be equals to plus minus under root 64 minus 4y square, correct? So okay, so this plus under root 64 minus 4y square represents this part, this curve, and this minus 64 minus 4y square represents this part, right? Because here x is negative, here x is positive, right? So basically how will you solve it is you write the limits of x. So here x is negative and here x is positive, right? So you can write the lower limit of x, you can write the upper limit of x, correct? uh okay, yeah, but okay, your y is constant, so first you will have to actually take this strip, right? You will take a strip like this, correct? You will take a horizontal strip. So this is curve C1, this is curve C2, right? And your this horizontal strip is going from y equal to 0 to y equals to 4, right? So y equal to 0 to y equal to 4, you're going, and here you're varying your limits of x. So it is minus 64 minus 4y square, and this is plus 64 minus 4y square, correct? Okay. So let me break it down. Let me break this down. Do you know what is mod x? Mod x is an even function, correct? Mod x is an even function. So like I'm only using the limits of x, so y is just a constant, so y can come outside. So this will be equals to y can come outside the first integration. So okay, so 0 to 4, and this is mod x dx dy. Okay, so now mod x is an even function, right? Mod x is an even function. So if mod x is an even function, I'm going from minus a to plus a. You can use a property, right? If you don't want to use it, don't use it. But I will use the property, but without using the property as well, you will get the same answer. Now that's up to you. So if I use the property, even function integration from minus a to a, that will be nothing but 2 times 0 to a. I hope you remember this part. And in this region, right, 0 to under root 64 minus 4y square, my x is always positive. So what will I replace my mod x with? X. So this will be x dx, and then dy is there, correct? Okay, not, handwriting is not proper, let me get some space, correct? Dx. Okay, so this will be 2 and x square by 2, correct? So 1 by 2 I can take outside, that is just a constant number. 0 to 4, 0 to 4, this is y, this is 64 minus 4y square, right? 64 minus 4y square whole square, so this will be multiplied by 64 minus 4y square, correct, into dy. So yep, this will be 0 to 4, 64 y dy, that would be 32 y square minus, okay, this is y cube, so y raised to the power 4, right? So this would be 0, will be 0 only. Okay, I've already integrated it, right? I've already done the integration. All I have to do is put the limits. So this would be equals to 4 squared. So 32 into 16 minus 4 cube, that is 16 into 16, right? So this is nothing but if I take the 16 common, 16 into 2 minus 1, that is 1 only. So this value actually is, if I take 16 common here, right, 16 into 16 if I take common, sorry, 16 into 16 if I take common, then that would be enough. So what is 16 into 16? So this is 10, that is 160 plus 6 into 6, right, 96. Yeah, 160 plus 96 would be 256. So 256 would be an answer. Question was lengthy. Ignore this part, right? Ignore this lamina part. Understand this part. Okay, how to do the double integration, that is important. It's okay, you don't know what is how to calculate the mass, that's fine, but the important point is how to do the double integration, that is the important part. that can be asked in the upcoming shifts, right? This practice is important. So 256 is the answer. Now let's solve this one. So very simple question. Matrix is given. They're asking these, right? Determinant. If I see the determinant, I can open this determinant about this particular element, right? The last element. So this will be 1 into 1 into 0 minus under root 2 into under root 2. So 1 into 0 minus under root 2 into under root 2, that is 2 only. So this is minus 2. So your determinant is minus 2. It is not 3. So not correct, right? A is not correct. Now they are saying that a minus 2i is invertible. For a minus 2i to be invertible, the determinant of a minus 2i must be non-zero. So let me see what is a minus 2i. So a minus 2i, this will be simply, I hope you know what is identity matrix. This will be 0. This will be, sorry, not 0 actually. So 2i is what? 2i is this, right? So 2 0 0 0 2 0 0 0 2. So if I subtract this a minus 2i, this would be minus 1 under root 2 0 under root 2 minus 2 0 0 0 minus 1. So again I will open about the last element. So minus 1 into minus 1 into minus 2, that is 2, minus of under root 2 whole square, that is 2. So this is equals to 0. So this is actually equals to 0 only, right? So your this a minus 2y determinant is coming out to be 0. That means it is not invertible. It is a singular matrix whose determinant does not exist. So sorry, whose inverse does not exist. So this will be again wrong. All eigenvalues are real. You can solve for the eigenvalues, right? But this matrix, right, is a symmetric matrix. And for a symmetric matrix, if all the elements are real, the eigenvalues are always real. That is a property. Even if you don't remember the property, don't worry, we will solve it. This option is correct and we will solve it using basics. Don't worry. The eigenvalues are this. So if they say you the eigenvalues are this, for this you have to write down the characteristics equation. You will have to write down the characteristics equation, right? So how will I write the characteristics equation? So you know, this is the most basic equation, right? Ax equals to lambda into x. Then you take the lambda x on the left hand side, lambda into x equal to 0, and then you take your x common, right? That is lambda into I into x equal to 0. So now you take that determinant. If I take the determinant, what will happen? A minus lambda into I determinant or determinant of x equal to 0. So x is not equal to 0. That is how we started with. So of course this has to be equal to 0, right? And that is how you get the characteristics equation. I hope you remember all these things. Correct? Okay. So yeah. So what is A? A is this, right? So A minus lambda I. So lambda I is this diagonal element, all will be lambda, right? So 1 minus lambda, this will be 1 minus lambda, this will be under root 2, this will be 0, this will be under root 2, this will be minus lambda, this will be 0, this will be 0 0 and 1 minus lambda again. So again I can open this about the last element, right? So this will be what? This will be 1 minus lambda into 1 minus lambda into minus lambda minus of 2, that is equal to 0. So this will be, I can multiply by minus 1 on both sides. This will be lambda minus 1, this will be lambda into lambda square minus lambda minus 2 equal to 0. So this would be lambda cube minus lambda square minus 2 lambda, this will be minus lambda square plus lambda plus 2 equal to 0. Correct? Now we got this. This should be lambda cube minus 3 lambda square minus lambda plus 2 equal to 0. Okay, so from here you can see whether these are your eigenvalues or not. Okay. So yeah, you put the values, right? You put lambda equals to 1. If I put lambda equals to 1 here, you will see this is, if I put here lambda equals to 1, this will be 1 minus 3 minus 1 plus 2 equal to 0. So yeah, it is satisfying, right? This is equals to 0 only, right? So 0 equal to 0, it is satisfying. Is it? Hold on a second. 1 minus 3 is minus 4. No, nothing is going, something is going wrong. Hold on. Minus 1, this should satisfy actually. The eigenvalues are this. Okay. Something I'm missing up something. 2 lambda square minus lambda. Give me 1 second now. This will be A. What am I doing now? Lambda square. Sorry, lambda cube minus. Okay, sorry. This is not 2. This is not 2, right? How did 2 came? This is only minus lambda square. Sorry. Okay, yeah, sorry. 2 should not come, right? Minus lambda square. So here this should be 2 lambda square minus 2 lambda square. Now it is correct. Now it is getting to 0. So yeah, 1 is a solution. 1 is a solution. Minus 1. Again, if you put minus 1 in this equation, you will see it is also satisfying. So minus 1 whole cube is equals to minus 1 only, minus 2 into minus 1 whole square and minus 1 into minus 1, right? So yeah, you will see this also will satisfy. This also will satisfy your equation. So minus 1 minus 2 plus 1 plus 2. So this is also equal to 0 only. And same if you put half, right? Half also will satisfy. Now how can I check it in a quicker manner? What is the product? Minus of, correct? So okay, this is minus of the eigenvalues of, okay. Something is missed in this question actually. It is supposed to be eigenvalues of A inverse. Sorry about that. It is supposed to be eigenvalues of A inverse. So in this question there was eigenvalues of A inverse, not A. So what will be the eigenvalues of A inverse? Eigenvalues of A inverse would be 1 by lambda 1, 1 by lambda 2 and 1 by lambda 3. Correct? So if the eigenvalues of A inverse are these values and if they are given to you, can you tell me what is lambda 1, lambda 2 and lambda 3? So lambda 1 would be, so 1 by lambda 1 equals to 1. So lambda 1 would be equals to 1 only. 1 by lambda 2 equals to minus 1. So lambda 2 would be equals to minus 1 only. And 1 by lambda 3 is equals to half. So lambda 3 would be equals to 2. Right? Just the inverse. So these are your eigenvalues according, these are your eigenvalues of A. Eigenvalues of A inverse would be just inverse, right? Now if I multiply all these three eigenvalues, they should satisfy the last element, right? This one, negative of this, plus minus plus. I have already discussed this in the previous solutions, right? Previous shift solution. So not discussing this here, how this minus plus came. So this will be plus, this will be minus, this will be plus, this will be minus. So minus 2 would be equals to the product of the eigenvalues. Yes, it is. What about the summation? The sum of the eigenvalues should be equals to plus 2, right? There is a negative sign and there is already a negative sign, so this will be plus 2. I have already discussed this in the previous questions. Okay, how this minus minus I am resolving, right? Already discussed in the previous questions in the first chapter. So not discussing this over here. So this will be 2. So the sum is coming out to be 2. Absolutely correct. So this option is absolutely correct, and if this option is correct, that means all these eigenvalues are real. So that means all eigenvalues of A are also real. So that's how you can solve this if you don't know the property that for a symmetric matrix the eigenvalues will always be real only. Even if you don't know the property, still you can solve it. You don't have to worry about it, right? Don't worry about it. Correct. So this was the next question. This is nothing but LU decomposition. So bit lengthy, right? There is nothing but lengthy question. Okay. So what you have to do? You have to simply do the LU decomposition, right? Okay. Uh, yeah. Let me solve it. Here, we will have to multiply these two LU, and that is equals to this, right? So if I multiply L into U, what will I get? So first element, if I multiply, this will be L11, L11 into 1 plus 0 into this, 0 into this, right? Then L21, so this is the first element. L11 is equals to 1 only. So we got the first element, L11 equals to 1. So what about the second one? So second one will be the first row into the second column, correct? So L11 into U12, 0 and 0. So L11 into U12 would be equals to the second element here, that is 1, correct? So your U12 is also equals to 1. What about the third element, right? Third element. So this will be first row into the third column. So L11 into U13, that is U13 only. Then this is also 0, this is also 0. So ultimately it is equals to 3. Now let's come back to the second row. So second row into the first column would give me this element, right? So L21 into 1 is L21 only. These are all 0, correct? So L21, okay, L21 is also, okay, L21 is already given to you. Okay, actually no, these were not given to you actually. You have to calculate this. Sorry. Okay, you have to calculate this. L21 was not given to you. So you just have to compute the value of alpha actually, right? L21 was, all these values were not given. You have to calculate this. Okay, so L21 is equals to this. L21 would be equals to what? L21 was equals to 4, right? Because L21 into 1 is L21 only. All the other summations are 0. What about this one? What about this element, right? So this will be second row into the second column. So L21 into U12, that is L21 is 4. So 4 into U12, and U12 is also 1 only, right? U12 is also 1 plus L22 into 1. So L22 equals to, this term is 0 only. So this will be equals to 3, correct? So this will be 3. So L22 would be equals to minus 1. L22 would be equals to minus 1. Now L31. Now let's come back to this last element, right, of the second row. So that would be second row into the last column. So L21 into U13. L21 is 4. So 4 into U13. U13 is 3. Then plus L22 into U23. L22 is nothing but minus 1 into U23. We don't know the value. Then 0 into 0. This is 0 only, and this would be minus 1. Okay. So this would be 12. That is 13. That is equals to U23. Yeah, actually one change here. This right will be 1 actually. Just bit of typo. This will not be 3, this will be 1. So if this is 1, then things will change actually. So your U13 will not be 3 anymore, it will be 1, correct? It will be 1. So L21 is 4. So L22, this is 1, minus 1, that is fine. So okay. So this will not be 3 anymore, this will be 1. Alright. So this will be actually U23 would be 5. u23 is 5. Now let's solve it for this equation, this one. So this will be basically this third row into the first column, that is L31. So L31 is equals to 3. So these kind of questions you need patience, that's it. You need patience. Question is easy, but this will take some time. So these are lengthy questions. So then we have this row into the second column. So this will be L31 into U21, that is 3 into 1, that is 3 into 1 plus L32 into 1. L32 is, I don't know what is L32, that is unknown, plus 0 only, right? I'm guessing this is 0. Yes, this is 0. Okay, so this would be equals to your what, this element, right? 5. So from here your L32 is equals to 2, correct? So yep, this into the, so this third row into the last column. So L31 into U13, right? L31 into U13, so 1 into L31 is this, so 3 into 1 plus L32 into U23, right? So that is L32 is 2. 2 into U23, U23 is 5. So this will be 10. Finally the last one, alpha into 1, right? That is alpha. That will be equals to 1. That will be equals to this one. Okay, sorry. Okay, hold on. This, okay, this is not supposed to be alpha. This is not supposed to be alpha. There is something wrong with the question. Yeah, sorry. This is also supposed to be minus 10 only, right? This is also supposed to be minus 10. So yeah, my bad. This is not alpha, right? This is minus 10. Okay, so I will add this part to the starting, that I will explain like these two elements are different, right? Otherwise question, like, it will go lengthy. So yeah, this is alpha. Then what do I have to do? Sorry, this is actually 10 minus 10 times 1, that is minus 10 only, right? So this will be minus 10 only. Okay, that is equals to alpha, this element, right? This element. So your alpha will come out to be 3 only. Okay, so that would be the answer of this question. Like, lengthy, I agreed, but yeah, you have to just write properly. The elements were not proper, that's why I got stuck in between. That's it. So yeah, let's solve this one. This also came, and this is the last question from XE. So you have been given a complex function, and you have to say whether the function is an analytic at 0 comma 0, or it does satisfy along x-axis. So let us check the condition of analyticity. So what is the condition of analyticity? So it is basically your ux would be equals to vy, and your uy would be equals to minus vx. How do I remember it? So del x always comes first. So, and u is the real part. So real part is the most important one. So u into u of x, right? That is partial derivative of the real part with respect to x. That is the most important part, should be equals to the partial derivative. I have already chosen x, right? So I will choose here y. And because this is the first condition, there will not be any negative sign. Second condition, just the complement. Here I will have y, and here I will have x, and this will be negative. Okay, so that's how I remember it. That's it. So if I differentiate with respect to x, the real part, that would be 3x square minus 4y square. That is my ux, and my vx is equals to, sorry, vy is equals to 4x square minus 6y square. Okay, so this would be equals to, are these two equal? No. Is this analytic? No. But they are talking about a point. If they are talking about a point, so I will check the analyticity at that point. I will check the analyticity at that particular point. So if I put x equal to 0, y equal to 0, is my ux equals to vy? Yes. So just give me 1 second. At x comma y equals to 0 comma 0, this would be ux would be equals to 0 and vy would be equals to 0. So ux is equals to vy actually. What about the other condition? Okay, what is u of y? U of y would be equals to, this would be minus 8xy. Okay, and what about v of x? V of x is equals to 8xy. Are these two equal? Actually they are always equal. That is, we're lucky, right? So yes, let me check this. X cube, if I differentiate this with respect to y, if I differentiate this with respect to x, so we are lucky in this case. They are coming out to be always same, right? So uy is equals to minus of vx. So this equation is always satisfying, correct? So yeah, it does not matter. Obviously, for all values of x and y, it is always satisfying. So obviously, for x equal to 0, y equal to 0, it will satisfy. So uy is equals to minus of vx, correct? Uy is equals to minus of vx. So the function is analytic, right? Because it is satisfying the CR equations. So the function is analytic at 0 comma 0. So this statement is false. So in the options there were like a statement is true, b statement is true, a is false, b is false, something like that. So this is false because it is analytic at 0 comma 0. But is it analytic at all points? No, because this is always not satisfying, right? This is not always equals to this particular value. But at x equal to 0 comma 0, yes, it is satisfying the CR equations. So it will be analytic at that particular point. What about this? The function f does not satisfy the CR equations along x-axis. What does along x-axis means, right? X-axis. It basically means that your y would be equals to 0. So if I put y equal to 0 here, this ux will become what? Ux will become 3x square. If I put here y equal to 0, vy will become what? 4x square. But they are not equal. Ux is not equals to vy, so it does not satisfy the CR equation. That is correct. It does not satisfy the CR equation. So this will be true, right? So whichever option was telling you that this second statement is true and this first statement is false, that option would be correct, right? I don't have the option, so I will not be able to properly say what is your answer. But yeah, that's how you solve it. Now let's begin with the chemical engineering questions. Let's begin with this question. Find the set of eigenvalues of the matrix. So like very straightforward. You have to simply find out the eigenvalues. So you can directly form the characteristics equation for a simple 2 cross 2 matrix. What is it? It is lambda square minus trace of A. Trace is what? 0. So this is 0 only into lambda plus determinant of my matrix. What is determinant? It is minus 3 minus 4 square minus 3 square minus 4 square, that is minus 25. So this will be minus 25, that would be equals to 0. So lambda would be equals to plus minus 5, right? So like very simple. I will not like spend too much time here. This one you will have to evaluate the limit, right? So if you put x equal to 0, you will see that this is 0 by 0 form. That means you can use the L'Hopital's rule. So I will differentiate the numerator and denominator with respect to x. So this will be e raised to power x minus 1 upon minus of sin x. Right now, if I put here x equal to 0 again, right, what will happen? Again I get a 0 by 0 form. So again I can use L'Hopital's rule. So this will be e raised to power x upon minus of cos x. I hope you know how am I getting 0 by 0, right? So e raised to power 0 is 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0 only, right? 0 by 0 form. Sin x, sin 0 is 0. So this again, right? If I put x equal to 0 now, I don't get 0 by 0 form. This is 1 divided by minus 1. So your limit answer is minus 1. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. So option C is the correct answer. This one. This one, I exactly don't know what was asked. Okay, I will solve for both of them, right? So a fair dice is rolled once. Let A be the event of obtaining prime number. So what does it include? Prime number. Prime number means in a dice 2, 3 and 5 are called as prime numbers. And B be the event of obtaining a number that is less than 4. That is 1, 2 and 3. Correct. Now what is the conditional probability? A by B. So what does A by B means? So what is the probability of event A occurring given that B has occurred? If B has occurred, right, my sample space has been reduced. So if B has occurred, that the outcome of the dice can either be 1, 3 and 5. So out of this, what is A? A basically means I need a prime number. So which are prime numbers? So 3 and 5. These two are my prime numbers, right? Correct. These two are my prime numbers. So if these two are my prime numbers, so what is my sample space? Okay, my sample space is this, right? B, because I can either, okay, sorry, my sample space is this, yeah, my sample space is this. So either I can get 1, 2 and 3. That is a possibility. And my prime numbers are what? Sorry. What am I doing? Sorry. B has occurred. If B had, sorry, event that an odd, event B is the event that an odd number less than 4 is obtained. Okay, sorry. An odd number less than 4 is obtained. So either I can get either 1 and 3, right? So if you read this, B is the event that an odd number less than 4 is obtained. Okay, so either I can get 1 or 3. So what is the probability? A by B. That basically means given that B has occurred, what is the probability of A? So if B has occurred, this is my sample space now. So I can get either 1 and 3. Out of 1 and 3, what is my favorable? This, right? Only one element is favorable. 3 is prime number. So number of elements that are favorable, that is 1, divided by the total number of sample space. My sample space is 2. It is not 6 because given B has occurred, right? B has already occurred. So my sample space has been reduced. So this will be 1 by 2, that is 0.5. Now, like you can use formulas, that is P A intersection B by P B, you will get the same value. Okay. What is P A intersection B? It is the intersection of these two, right? Only one element is common. So actually this will be 1 only. Divided by PB. How many elements? 2, right? So that's why 2 elements. So that's why 1 by 2. But if this was asked, right, that event B is that event that has an odd number, right? Does not matter. It is not less than 4. We just obtain an odd number. That's it. So if we have obtained an odd number, that means your event B will change now. It will be 1, 3 and 5, right? So the number of sample space has increased. So denominator you will have 3. How many prime numbers out of this? 2. So favorable is 2, number of sample space is 3. So 2 by 3 would be your answer. So depending on the question, your answer will change. Okay, so I don't know exactly what was asked, so anyone will be correct depending on the question. Let's now solve this one. So again, not super difficult, pretty straightforward, but if you don't know how to use polar coordinates, you will be stuck. I will tell you exactly how to solve these kind of questions without remembering much formula. So the polar equation is given, right? And you have to find out the area enclosed by the curve. Now this is in polar coordinate. If you remember, in Cartesian coordinate system, the area, right, if it covers xy plane, is given by 1 dx dy. I hope you remember this. Now how do I remember it for the polar coordinate? For the polar coordinate, it is fairly straightforward. So if I have a circle, right, what will be the area of this circle? How do I find out? Using differential lengths. So if I consider this vector, okay, so this is r vector, correct? So r vector, the length, the radial length, right, would be, if I just consider a very small section here, the radial length would be dr. This radial length would be dr. What about this length? This is what? This is nothing but the arc length. For a circle, what is the arc length? It is r d theta. What is d theta? D theta is nothing but this small variation, right, of theta. That's it. R d theta. I hope you know how to calculate the arc length. It is the angle into the radius of the circle. So that's it. You're good to go. So what will be your area? Area will be the differential length along the two axes, right? Differential length along the r axis, that is the radial direction, is dr. Differential length along the theta axis is r d theta. That's it. And this is your area formula. R dr d theta. This can be further simplified as r square by 2, because your radius will go from 0 to r. Correct? So r square by 2 d theta. And if they are asking you the area enclosed by the curve, that means your theta is varying from 0 to 2 pi. So theta will vary from 0 to 2 pi. Correct? Now let me write what is my r square. This is my r square, right? So this would be equals to r square. So I can take 2 common. So this will be 4 square by 2, 0 to 2 pi, 1 plus sine square theta minus 2 sine theta d theta. Okay. So sorry, this will not be 4 square. Sorry, this will be 4 only, right? This was actually 2 square. That's it. So I have just simplified it. That's it. So this will be 2, and this will be 2 pi. So what is the integration of this? This actually is half. Okay, but if I don't remember it, don't worry. We can solve this using basics. So integration of sine theta from 0 to 2 pi is 0. I hope that you know. Correct. What about this sine square theta? So sine square theta, right? We know this, right? Cos square theta minus sine square theta is equals to cos 2 theta. Okay, so this would be 1 minus 2 sine square theta is equals to cos 2 theta. So 1 minus cos 2 theta divided by 2 is actually equals to sine square theta, right? So this can be replaced here. So again, if you replace it here, right, you will see that the integration of cos 2 theta by 2 from 0 to 2 pi will come out to be 0. Why? Because its period is pi. Because its period is pi, it is periodic, right? So the area will be 0, right? Cos sine over a whole time period is always 0. You know it. What will be the area? What will be this area, right? It is half. Okay, actually it is not exactly half here, right? It will be half into the theta, right? Because you are integrating with respect to theta. So half into 2 pi. Okay. So this will be actually 2 pi plus pi, that is 3 pi. This will be 6 pi. So the area enclosed by the curve would be actually 6 pi. This would be the answer of your question. Okay, now let's solve the next one. So they are actually asking, like, I see a lot of questions from differential equation. So differential equation is actually very important topic. That is what I feel. So solve the differential equation. This, right? How to solve it? So you can solve it like this. That this is a higher order differential equation, but you have to use the Cauchy, like Cauchy form. So what is Cauchy form basically? Because you see, it is not just d square y by dx square, you have x square multiplied as well, right? So how do I solve these kind of questions? So you assume a variable z. Z is equals to e raised to power x. Correct. So no, not this, sorry. X is equals to e raised to power z. Although this you don't have to remember, right? What do you have to remember? I will tell. So x equals to e raised to power z. So this would be what? This would be if I take the log on both sides, natural log, this will be ln x equal to z. Now I will differentiate with respect to y on both sides. If I differentiate with respect to y, so chain rule, differentiation of the outside function, that is 1 by x, into the differentiation of the inside function, that is x, right? So it will be dx upon dy, and this will be basically dz upon dy. So I can write my dy upon dz equals to x into dy upon dx. So do you see something like this, x into dy upon dx, that can be replaced with dy upon dz. So basically this differential coefficient x into d of x can be replaced with d of z. That's it, right? So I have just proven the derivation. No need to remember it. What do you need to remember? This. So your x square into d square by d of x square, d of y square, so d of y, d square y of d of x square, this can be replaced with the differential coefficient, that is dz into dz minus 1, right? And similarly your x into dy upon dx can be replaced with dz into, yeah, that's it, dz. Okay, that's how simple it is. So yeah, if I take y common here, right, if I take y common, this whole equation would be dz into dz minus 1 plus 3 dz into 3 equal to 0. Okay, into y obviously is there. Now no particular integral, all you have to do is solve the complementary function. So this will be dz whole square minus dz plus this, so 2 dz minus 3, right? So if I solve the roots of this equation, this will be basically uh, minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac by 2a. So minus 1 plus minus 4 by 2, right? 4 by 2 is plus minus 2. So like your two roots are minus 3 and 1, correct? Minus 3 and 1. So like what will be your roots? Your roots would be like your complementary function would be y would be equals to, remember this differential coefficient was with respect to z. So your solution also will be with respect to z. Of course we'll change it up like in terms of x, don't worry about it. So we have two distinct roots, right? So this will be c1 e raised to power minus 3z plus c2 into e raised to power z, correct? So now I will replace. So what is my e raised to power z? E raised to power z is x. So e raised to power minus 3z would be c1 x raised to the power of minus 3 and c2 x raised to the power of 1. That's it, correct? Now you have been given initial conditions, right? So initial conditions are given to you that this, right, y of 1 is 3. So basically at x equal to 1 y is 3. So this will be 3 c1 plus c2. What about the other one? This is the next initial condition, that dy upon dx x equal to 1 is minus 5, correct? So so if I differentiate this function, this would be minus 3 x of c1, this would be actually minus 4, yeah, differentiate this function, plus c2, and here I have to put x equal to 1, that is equals to 5 minus 5, right? So this is equals to minus 5 if I put x equal to 1. So c2 minus 3c1 is equals to minus 5, right? Now what I can do is I can subtract this from this function. So that would be equals to 8 would be equals to 4c1, c1 is equals to 2. So c1 is equals to 2, correct? This if I subtract 8, okay, c1 is 2. What about c2? So c1 is 2, c2 would be 1, cool. So c1 c2 I know. Now we have to find out y of 2, right? So I'll put x equal to 2. So if I put x equal to 2, y of 2 would be c1 is 1, sorry, c1 is 2 into 1 by 2 cube plus c2 is 1 into 2, that's it. So 1 by 4, that is 0.25 plus 2.25, right? So 2.25 would be your answer for this question. Pretty simple and straightforward. Let's solve this one. Okay, so two numbers are given. So like these questions are from chemical branch, right? So for chemical, they are more focused towards complex numbers. So more questions will come from complex numbers. So two complex numbers are given, and you have to say in what condition this equality holds. So what you're doing, you're taking the magnitude of the two addition of the complex number, you're writing it as the individual magnitudes. When does it happen? Okay, so if you remember, if I have two vectors, right, along, so this is x along x direction and y direction. If I had two vectors along x direction, so those can be simply added. If they are parallel to each other, those vectors can be simply added, right? So basically, if I have two vectors like this, right, I can simply add them, and the resultant vector would be this, correct? If you remember it. So this is the same thing, right, as this one, this inequality. What does it say? That I individually add the two vectors and then take the magnitude, or if I take the magnitude of each vector and add them, this inequality will hold. So that basically means the angle between the two vectors is 0. So they are in the same phase, right? So basically it basically means that they follow scalar addition. They follow scalar addition. So if they're in the same phase, right? How? So let's assume few numbers. Z1 is 2 and Z2 is also 3. Then 2 plus 3 magnitude is 5, and magnitude of 2 plus magnitude of 3 is also 5, right? So they have to be same. The angles must be same. In both the cases, if you see, the angle was 0. Similarly, you can solve it for angle pi by 4, angle pi by 2, does not matter. Let me take an example, right? Let me take another example. Z1 equals to J2 and minus J2, or and Z2 equals to minus J3, right? So if I do Z1 plus Z2, that is minus J5 magnitude, that is 5. And if I take the magnitude of Z1, that is 2, and magnitude of Z2, that is 3. So magnitude of Z1 plus magnitude of Z2, that is equals to 5. Okay. So yeah, I hope you get the point. So it is equals to 5, it will be always true if the angle is same. If the angle was opposite, then what would happen? Then what inequality would have followed? Then this inequality would be followed, right? Z1 plus Z2 can be either equals to plus minus of Z1 minus Z2. Okay, I don't know which one will be negative. It depends on the magnitude values actually. So now if the angles are different, then this inequality will not hold, like something like this will hold if they're in opposite direction, right? So they have not asked this, they have only asked like when this inequality will be hold. Very simple, very straightforward, when the angles are same. So obviously if their magnitudes are same, I don't care about the magnitude, I care about the phase. Their phase must be same, right? If their phase are same, then only this condition will satisfy. That's it. Cool. So this will be the answer, option B. This one, now there is a way. So you have to find out the value of the regression coefficient m, right, which is nothing but the which fits this straight line. Okay, so using least square method. So like of course there is a formula for this. The formula for this is, if you want to find out the value of m, it is this xi into yi divided by summation of xi, right? But I don't want you to solve with formula. This is summation of xy whole square. I don't want you to solve with formula. You can do it. So but if you don't remember the formula, right, if you don't remember the formula, then how can you solve it? So like I hope you understand, xi into yi is this, right? 1 into 2, then 2 into 6, 3 into 7, and sum of all these values divided by the square, and then sum of all these values, right? So okay, so that's it. So find the value of regression coefficient m. So okay, without solving it, how can I solve it? So do you know what is m? M, if you remember, for a straight line it is x2 y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, correct? So let me find out the m for all these observations and then take the average. Approximately it will come out to be the same. So if we find out the m, right, m1, that is in this, if I consider these two points, that is x equal to 1 comma 2 and 2 comma 6. So what is y2 minus y1, that is 6 minus 2 upon x2 minus x1, that is 2 minus 1, that is nothing but 4. What about m2? M2 would be this, right, these 2 points, that is y2 minus y1, that is 7 minus 6 upon x2 minus x1, that is 3 minus 2, that is 1. What about the last one, m3? M3 is y2 minus y1, that is 7 minus 10 upon x2 minus x1, that is 1. So this would be 3. So if I take the average of all these three numbers, right, if I take the average of all these three numbers, what will I get? So this will be 4 plus 1 plus 3 upon 3, correct? So 5, 8 upon 3, right? So what is 8 upon 3? 2.67. So approximately, if you see here, it comes out to be 2.5. Like if you use the exact formula, it will come out to be 2.5, and this is coming out to be 2.67, and gate will give you the range. If it is a NAT based question, gate will give you the range. Okay. If it was MCQ, you can eliminate the option, whichever option will be most nearer to 2.67, you'll choose that. So of course there is this formula, you can use it, but even if you don't want to use it, right, still you can solve this. Why I have taken this question? Because gate can ask something like this in the upcoming shifts, and it's okay if you don't know the formula, but still I'm saying you can take a calculative risk. If it is NAT, you can simply solve it like this and put the answer, right? They will give you enough range. If it is MCQ, you will see which option is closest to this value, right? That's how you can solve in the examination. So these were all the chemical questions, chemical engineering questions. Now we will start with the computer science questions. A function f of x is defined like this. If the function f of x is continuous at x equal to 0, then find the value of c1 plus c2 in integer. Correct? Okay, so c1 plus c2 in integer, you have to find out the value. So if we put x equal to 0, right, what is happening? So the definition of the function, like they're telling me it is continuous. If it is continuous, that means f of 0 plus would be equals to f of 0. What is f of 0? That is 3. What is f of 0 plus? This, right? Let me put in this equation 0 plus. How do I put 0 plus? So you write f of x limit as x tends to h, right? And then you say h tends to 0. So if I say x tends to h, this will be nothing but, so let me write the function c2 log of 1 by x, right? So if I put here h, and then if I say limit as h tends to 0, this will be c of e raised to power c1 of e raised to power h minus c2 of log of 1 by h. So if you see, if I put h equal to 0, this does not make any problem, right? This is simply c1. But if this I make h equal to 0, what will happen? This will be 1 by 0. That is almost tending towards infinity. H is a very small number. So this is log of infinity. What is log of infinity? Log of infinity is infinity only. So that means c2 has to be 0 if the limit exists, right? And it exists because in the question it is given it is continuous. If it is continuous, limit will exist. If limit has to exist, that means this value has to be 0. Otherwise this will become infinity, right? So this has to be 0. So c2 is 0. What about c1? So c1, if I put h equal to 0, this is c1 only, right? So this will be c1 only. So this f of 0 plus is actually equals to c1, and which should be equals to f of 0, that is equals to 3. So c1 is 3, c2 is 0, so c1 plus c2 would be 3. So 3 would be your answer of this question, straightforward. This one, n cross n matrix with real entries, n is greater than 1, then the maximum possible multiplicity of any eigenvalue. So what does multiplicity means? Basically, multiplicity basically means the number of repeated eigenvalues. That's all. Maximum possible. So if I have a n cross n matrix, how many eigenvalues I can have? Maximum n matrix. Sorry, n eigenvalues, right? Because your characteristics equation will be nth order. So you'll have n roots. If all the eigenvalues are repeated, right? That is a maximum possible case when all the eigenvalues are repeated. That means in that case multiplicity is n, right? Because all eigenvalues are repeated, so I have n eigenvalues which are repeated, so multiplicity maximum value can be n. So option C can be correct. Obviously n plus 1 not possible because you will not have more eigenvalues than the order of the matrix. So n will be your answer for this question. Let's solve this next one. Okay, so this one is actually a good question. No, sorry, this one is not good question. Another question came from probability. I think it is on the second shift. That was a good question. This is simple only. So an unbiased 6-faced die, faces numbered this, is rolled twice. The number appearing on the top face is recorded on each roll. What is the probability that the number obtained on the second roll is an integer multiple of the first roll? So if let's say if I'm rolling the dice and I'm getting 1 in the first roll, that means what are the possible outcomes that I can get in the second roll? So the second roll has to be an integer multiple of the previous one. So 1 is 1 an integer multiple of the previous one? Yes. Is 2 an integer multiple? It is. Yes. 2 into 1, 3, 4, 5 and 6, right? All these are integer multiple of the previous one, correct? So total 6 cases. What about if I get 2 in the first roll of dice? So then is 1 an integer multiple of the previous one? No, right? 2 is multiple, 4 is multiple, 6 is multiple. So 3 cases. What about 3? If I get 3, this will be 3 and 6, right? 2 cases. What about 4? If I get 4, only 4 is the possible case. If I get 5, only 5 is the possible case. If I get 6, only 6 is the possible case in the second throw of the dice. So total how many favorable cases? 6 plus 3, 9, 11, 15, 20, 26. Sorry, not 6. Sorry, this will be, sorry, what am I doing? So total 1 case here, one case here and 1 case here, right? So sorry. So 9, 11, 12, 13, 14. So total 14 favorable outcomes out of how many? So if I am rolling 2 dice, there are total 6 into 6 possible outcomes. So 14 by 36 or 7 by 18. I think 7 by 18 was there in one of the options. So this would be your correct answer for this question, right? So yeah, let's solve this one. Let x be a random variable that takes values in the following set. Let x be a random variable that takes value in the set, and the probability distribution function is this. What is expectation of x? Very simple and straightforward. All you have to do is summation of xi into pi, right? Because this is a discrete probability distribution, things become very simple, right? So 1 into x equal to 1, that is 1 by 6, plus 2 into 1 by 6. So basically, right, what am I doing? So when is the probability 1 by 6? I can take directly 1 by 6 common. This would be 1 plus 2 plus 5 plus 7 plus, again here the probability is 1 by 12. So 1 by 12, if I take common, this will be 3 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8, correct? So this will be basically 10, 15, 15 by 6 plus this would be 10, 21 by 12. So this I cannot divide by 2, so this I will multiply by 2. So 30, that is 51 by 12. So what is 51 by 12. If I divide this by 3, that could be 17 by 4, that is 4.25. So 4.25 would be your answer for the question. Pretty simple and straightforward. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, this one is like like whatever level, this is a moderate level question, right? Like a level upward from the other questions. So here you have to comment about whether the function is differentiable, local maxima, local minima, continuous. So if you see this, your function, right? Again, let us define the function for two values, right? For x greater than 0 and x less than 0. If x is greater than 0, then my function can be defined like this, right? So f of x would be, sorry, f of x would be equals to, when my x is greater than 0, this will be x by 2 minus x, that is minus x by 2, and this is x by 2, correct? So this would be minus x square by 2, correct? So minus x square by 2. So when my x is positive, the function is minus x square by 2, and when my function is negative, what will be this? X mod of x will be replaced with minus x, correct? So this will be minus x by 2 minus x, that is minus 3 x by 2, and here also mod of x will be replaced with minus x, this will be again 3x by 2, right? So minus 3x by 2 into 3x by 2, that is 9 minus 9x square by 2, that is nothing but when my x is less than 0, correct? So when my x is less than 0, that is the case. So in this scenario, what will happen? In this scenario, is your function continuous? So you have only a breakage around x equal to 0, right? So you will only check at x equal to 0. So at x equal to 0, the left hand limit is 0. The right hand limit is also 0. So function is continuous at x equal to 0. That is correct. Okay. But have they talked about the f of x? No. They are talking about f dash of x. Right? They are not talking about f of x. They are talking about f dash of x. So what is f dash of x? So I can differentiate this, right? So that would be equals to minus x and minus 9x. So x greater than 0, x less than 0. So again, is f dash of x, let me name this as a new function, g of x, is this continuous around x equal to 0? Because only x equal to 0 is a point of discontinuity. Yes, if I put here x equal to 0, this will be 0. If I put x equal to 0, this will be 0. So yes, statement B is correct. Cool. Now, what about this statement? F dash of x is not differentiable. So I have to comment whether g of x is differentiable or not. To comment g of x is differentiable or not, let me compute the differentiation, right, of this function. So what is g dash of x? That would be minus 1 when my x is greater than 0 and minus 9 when my x is less than 0. So this value is what? This is your left hand derivative. Sorry, this is your right hand derivative, right? When x is just positive, and this is your left hand derivative, correct? So are these two equal? No, these are not equal. If these are not equal, that means your this function, right, g of x is not differentiable. That means f dash of x is not differentiable. So this statement is correct. F dash of x is not differentiable at x equal to 0, correct. Now local maxima, local minima, you can check by the double derivative that, okay, because at x equal to 0 the value of the function is not given, right? Okay, so what you can do is you can simply, you don't need to think about the double derivative, but if you want, you can think in terms of the double derivative as well, that what is happening, it is same. So you can plot the graph, right? You can plot the graph that when the function is positive, it was x square by minus x square by 2, right? Minus x square by 2. would be somewhat like this. Okay, because x square would be somewhat like this. I have to just multiply minus sign, so it will invert, and minus 9 by 2 x square, right? So minus 9 by 2 x square is like this. Okay, so this is minus 9 by 2 x square minus x square by 2, correct? So yeah, that's it, basically that's your answer. And if you see, like, it is continuous, and this is what, this is a local maxima, right? Because after this is peaking, after this the values are reducing, going down, so you will obviously get a local maxima, not a local minima. So ABC would be correct for this question. Let's now solve the next one, right? Okay, so in, and how can you solve it mathematically? What you can see is what is happening to your derivative, right? What is happening to f dash of x? So f dash of x before x less than 0, around here it was minus 9x, so it was something, uh yeah, so minus 9x, x is negative, right? So it will be something like this, something positive. And then what is happening, your derivative is becoming negative. So previously your derivative was positive, and x greater than 0, your derivative is negative. What is happening? So you're going from derivative being positive to negative. That is what, initially your slope was increasing, slope was positive, then it become negative, right? That means somewhere in between you're getting a local maxima. This concept has been taught to you in RPYQ series in the full course, right? So somewhere you're getting a maxima. So that's how you can mathematically prove that yes, you're getting a maxima. It is a local maxima. Let's solve this. Pretty simple, straightforward. So you have to find out the integration. So if you see, this particular part is odd and this particular part is even, right? This is x raised to power 0, that is even. So if I am doing from minus a to a, the odd part will be 0. You can solve it. You will see, you can solve it using basic integration rules. You will see that this is coming out to be 0. Only this part will give you non-zero results, that is 2 into integration of 1 dx from 0 to 1, right? Even, so I can multiply by 2. Very basic property of even functions. So this will be equals to what? This will be 2 into x only, right? X is going from 1 to 0, 0 to 1, sorry. So this will be 2 into 1, that is 2. Okay, so yeah, this will be 2, and which is independent of a, right? The integration is independent of a, correct? The integration depends on a, no. There exists real number a such that I is positive, yes, because I is always positive. Okay, there exists real number a such that I is negative, no, not possible, right? Because IA can never be negative, right? It will always be positive, right? So this is the next question, like very basic question, right? They've given you some PDF function, and then they're asking you what kind of function is this, what kind of distribution is this. Very simple, right? It is nothing but my normal distribution. So normal distribution or Gaussian distribution, both are same. So just let us quickly revise what are different kinds of distribution, right? So PDF of uniform distribution, where the PDF is constant in a certain range, right? For that, the PDF is this, the expected value is this, the variance, I think it was some, I don't remember, something by 12, right? I don't remember, so you can remember that. Exponential, this is the PDF function, otherwise it is 0, and mean is this, variance is this, right? So you will ask me, sir, is this important for you to remember? It's good. If you are able to remember it, it's good. It will make your life much easier. Then we have this Laplace distribution, which is similar to exponential distribution, but here I have this mod function, right, where x can be symmetric. Here x was not symmetric, right? But your a and b must be positive. That's it. And this is the distribution that we discussed, right? Gaussian one, right? Sometimes it is called as normal as well. So it is simply 1 by sigma. Sigma is the variance under root 2 pi into e raised to power minus half x minus mu x by sigma x whole square. That's it, right? So these are few distributions. Let's solve the next one. Very straightforward, very simple, right? 4 cross 4 matrix, determinant of A is 3. What is the determinant of 2A, right? So if you remember, 2 into A determinant, this will be nothing but 2 raised to the power of n into determinant of A, right? Where n is the order of the matrix. So 2 raised to power n is 4 into determinant of A, that is 3. So 2 raised to power 4 is nothing but 16. 16 into 3 is 48. So 48 would be your answer for this question. Like, I hope I don't need to explain this question much. Consider the system of linear equations. Find the value of AV if we have infinitely many solutions. If I have infinitely many solutions, that means this determinant will be 0, right? I hope you remember rank concept. So A1, I will just writing the A matrix, that is 16 and A. This determinant will be equals to 0, that is A square minus 16 equal to 0. So A would be equals to plus minus 4, right? So A is equals to plus minus 4. What about B? So basically, right, if we have infinitely many solutions, so rank of A colon B must be equals to rank of A only, right? I hope you remember it. So okay, so if I put A equals to 4, this will be 4 of x, y would be equals to B, this will be 16 of x plus 4y equals to 24. So I can multiply by 4 on both sides, right? If I multiply by 4 on both sides, what will happen? This will also be 16x plus 4y equals to 4b, right? So yeah, so of course if the rank is less than 2, right, rank is less than 2, that means these two elements should, the coefficient matrix and all these coefficient, right, must be exactly same, because rank has to be equal, right? So this rank has to be equal. If I form the coefficient matrix here, this would be equals to 16 4 16 4, and this is 4b 24, correct? So yeah, now here 4b can be equals to 24, right? Otherwise rank would be less than 2, and if rank is not less than 2, that means we will get no solutions, right? If b is not equals to 6, then we will not get infinitely many solutions, we will get no solutions, that is not valid, right? So similarly, if you solve it for a equals to minus 4, you will see that your b is coming out to be minus 6. So in both cases, right, they have asked the product a into b, that will always be 24, that will always be 24, right? Don't worry about it, right? Let's solve this one. So if here coin is tossed 6 times, yeah, I was talking about this question. This is a very good question, right? Out of all the questions, this is the best question that I was able to find, right? And this is the last question. So a fair coin is tossed 6 times, with each toss being independent of the others, right? So basically independent events. Let E1 be the event where at least 2 heads in tosses 2, 4 and 6 occur, and E2 be the event that number of heads equals to the number of tails in these particular tosses. So we're tossing it 6 times, right? Then find the conditional probability that P of E1 given that E2 has occurred, right? So probability of E1 given that E2 has occurred. If E2 has occurred, that means number of heads will always be equal to number of tails for these throws. So let me write down the cases. So I am only considering the cases of my concern, right? So in event E2, my toss number is 1, 2, 3, 5. So I'm concerned about that. I'm not concerned about the other toss numbers because everything is independent. So I don't need to worry about it. So here, let me show you the cases. So basically I have 4 places to fill. How do I fill it? So I will have 4 heads, sorry, 2 heads and 2 tails, right? So how many ways I can arrange 2 heads and 2 tails where like with repetition, right? So I hope you have studied PNC, that could be 4 factorial upon 2 factorial into 2 factorial, right? If basically this head and this head are same, right? So this would be equals to 6, correct? I can show you the cases as well. So the first case would be the case that I have already written, that is head head tail tail. Basically in the first toss I get head, in the second toss I get head, in the third toss I get tail, in the fifth toss I get tail, right? So here number of heads and number of tails are equal. Now I can swap stuff, right? So this will be tail, head, right? So this is one of the case. Then I can have tail, tail. Then I can have uh, tail, head. Okay, this is already taken, right? Yeah. What else? What else? You can take the complement, right? You can simply take the complement. So this will be tail, head. This complement has already been taken. There is one more case, right? One more case. What is the case? That case would be, okay, this complement has not been taken, right? So this is actually head tail head. This is not been taken yet. So tail head, uh tail headed tail. Now how do I solve it? How do I solve it? How do I solve it? Okay, one more case would be there, right? One more case. So 1 2 3 4 5, one more case. What is that case? So head, uh this would be the case. Head tail head. Yeah, head tail head, right? That is nothing but the complement of this, and this was the complement of this case, and this was the complement of, sorry, this was the complement of this case, right? So yeah, so these are the 6 cases, right? Now what does it mean? It basically means that probability of event E1 given that E2 has occurred. So this has occurred, so my sample space is this. Now what is E1? E1 basically means I get at least 2 heads in toss 2 4 and 6. So I see that only this toss is common, right? So only this particular toss is dependent. Other things are independent. I don't care about the other tosses. I care the second, because the outcome of the second toss can affect my event E1. So there are two possibilities. In the second toss, either I get a head or I get a tail. Right? Either I get a head or I get a tail. So let's take for the case 1. Case 1, I get a head in the second toss. If I get a head in the second toss, they're asking me event E1 is what? At least 2 heads in the 4. So second toss is gone, right? Second toss, it is already gone, that I've already chosen that I will get head. So only 4th and the 6th toss is left. So in the 4th and the 6th toss, they're telling me then there are at least 2 heads. There are at least 2 heads, right? So already 1 head has been taken. So I need at least 1 head from the 4th and the 6th toss. So what is the probability to get at least 1 head from 2 toss? Simple binomial probability distribution. It is 2c1 into 1 by 2 cube. Why 2 cube? Sorry, this will not be 1 by 2 cube. This will be 1 by 2 square only. Right? Why 2 square? So this particular second toss is fixed, right? I have already got a head. This second toss is fixed. I have already got a head. So I don't need to worry about this, right? I am worrying about the 4th and 6th toss. So in the 2 tosses, right, I need to get at least 1 head. Then this event will be satisfied. Or out of these 2 tosses, I can get 2 heads. That is also a possibility. That would be 2c2 into 1 by 2 square. So both these cases will satisfy my event E1. Now you might have a doubt, sir, why didn't you consider the 3rd toss, 5th toss and the 1st toss? Why didn't you consider to calculate the probability? Remember, if I am tossing a coin, right, the first time that I toss and the second time that I toss, these 2 events are independent. So I don't need to worry about the other tosses. My matter of concern is the 2nd, 4th and 6th. So I'm only concerned about those tosses. So I have only written the probability for those tosses. That's it. Got it? So this was the case 1. Now what is the case 2? Case 2 is the case when my second toss is tail, it is not head, right? If the second toss is tail, that means in the other two tosses I will need two heads, because I need at least two heads in these three tosses. So this toss is tail, so I will need two tails from this, right? So that is 2c2 into 1 by 2 square, right? That is the probability. So what is the total probability? Probability of event E1 given that E2 has occurred, right? So all these considering E2 has occurred. So that would be this value plus this value. So that is nothing but 2c1, that is 2 plus 2c2, that is 1 plus 1 into 1 by 2 square. So that would be 1 by 2, right? Very good question, very elegant question actually. Now this question could have been more simpler. This question could have been more simpler if they would have told you that here my what do you call, if here, right, instead of 2, if they would have written anything else. So instead of 2, yeah, if 2 was not present in this question, if 2 was not present, then can you tell me what will be the answer? In that case, these two events are totally independent of each other, right? These two events are independent. If 2 was not in the picture here, then simply you will say that your probability of E1 given E2, you will use, you know the basic formula, right? That is probability of E1 intersection E2, that is equals to probability of E2. Okay, so basically probability of E1 intersection E2 is probability of E2, then this will be equals to probability of E1 into probability of E2, right? So because it is independent, because they are independent, I can directly write probability of E1 into probability of E2, and probability of E2 will be cancelled. So your answer would be probability of E1 only. And what is probability of E1? So probability of E1 is basically getting at least two heads from three tosses. Like that is very simple, right? How to calculate that? Binomial distribution, 3c2 into 1 by 2 cube from three tosses, or I can get three heads also, right? So this into 1 by 2 cube. So in this case this will be 3 plus 1, that is 4, divided by 2 cube, that is actually in this case as well it comes out to be 1 by 2 only. Okay, but this is a much simpler like solution if the question was changed, if this was given as like if 2 was not written here. Because 2 was written, then things became complex, then they were independent, then they were dependent. If they were independent, anyways, it like if you have to calculate PE1 given E2, if they're independent, simply you have to compute PE1, right? But if they're dependent, then you cannot do it. Then you have to solve using this kind of thing, or you can use the total probability theorem, the Bayes theorem, whichever one you are suitable with, right? So with that, we're done with all the engineering mathematics question. So if you enjoyed this video, like the video, hype the video, comment on below. And now we will learn about our courses.
Yeah, so now let's quickly see the course features of our Titans batch. So first you will be getting the complete video lectures, whatever that is required for your GATE examination in the best possible manner. You will get all the video content. The content will be of roughly around 950 hours. Also, you will be getting the doubt solving access as well. Once you purchase the course, you will be added to a doubt solving group where Anish sir and I will be personally clearing all your doubts. Like you can see the screenshot from our Titans batch only. Someone has asked the queries, and in the voice note, I clear all the doubts. If it is required, I can give the pen paper solution as well. And a lot of people are also there. They can also clear all your doubts. Then you will get the neatly written lecture PDF as well. Two kind of PDFs are there. Printable PDF is also there, and slides are also there. And that will be provided for all kind of subject. So what do you mean by printable PDF? So you can download this particular PDF and you can go to the printing guy and he will give you this kind of PDF. Okay, this is the printable PDF. That means all the printouts are available. Whatever that has been written in the notes, you can get the printout. It is having the white background. So whatever that I am teaching, that has been written in this particular notes. Okay, so you can simply annotate on the notes. You will not have to make your own notes, and it is completely written in the neat and clean manner. You might not be able to see the text, but It is completely written in the neat and clean manner. A lot of PDFs are already uploaded on the Telegram group. You can check the quality of the notes. And then these are the slides. So if someone is studying from the PC, if someone is having a tablet and he is annotating on the device itself, then he can use the slides. Slides will be having the black background. So here the notes will be having some colors, but printable notes will be black and white, so that it will cost you the minimum amount. Then you will be getting the solution to important PYQs. Whatever the important PYQs are there, all the PYQs will be solved. Along with that, you will be getting some assignment problems as well, which you need to solve on your own. And along with that, video solution will also be provided for those particular assignment problems. Also, we are framing more than 2000 test series problems. There will be subject wise and topic wise test series will be available in a particular subject. If there are 4 chapters, in those 4 chapters, if there are 20 topics, then from each topic we are framing each question, and along with that, every particular question would have a video solution as well. The video solution will be made by me and Anish sir. You will get the personalized guidance as well once you enroll in the course. So bi-weekly we will conduct one live session. So we will come live and we will take up your query one by one. Okay, so one-to-one query we will take. So this is just a message from the side of Anish sir that like roughly around at 7:30 p.m. on Saturday or Sunday we conduct this particular session. So this session happens every 2 weeks. Bi-weekly this particular session would take place, where you can ask your queries or you can tell us about our progress, and you can ask that what next you can do in your preparation. Also, for your revision purpose, we will be giving you the short notes as well, and along with that, a lot of revision videos will also be available. So this is just one of the slide of the short notes. Okay, so these are the short notes on Fourier transform. So you can see that whatever the things that you are supposed to remember in one page only, a lot of things are written. So in that manner, you can utilize your short notes. These are not the main notes; they are the short notes. So whatever the important points are there, that has been written in these kind of notes. Then post-gate guidance and VLSI interview prep. So once you clear the gate examination, after that you need to get into the masters or you need to get into the PSU. Then there they will be taking the interview. A lot of IITs and ISC would take your interview. So if they take your interview, then whatever the content you need to study, from where you would study, all the content will be taught by us only. Whatever that is necessary for your interview purpose, that will be provided to you. And if you are someone who is in tier 2 college or in tier 1 college where VLSI companies would be visiting your campus for the placement or internship, then whatever the content that is required, that will be taught by us. Okay, so these many content will be there, and every year hundred of students are placed in VLSI industry from this particular platform. Educator and the subject taken. So GATE EC, all the subjects will be taken by me this year. All the subjects will be taken by me. That means Himanshu Agarwal. In GATE Electrical, all the non-core subject will be on me. Which all non-core subject? Network, analog, digital electronics, signal system, control systems, mathematics, and aptitude. As of now, control system and mathematics from my side is not available. I will start recording it in the March 2027. Okay, and control system will come in June 2027. So those two subjects will also be available. Already other subjects are already available. And for GATE EC, all the subjects will be taught by me only. And for GATE Electrical, all the core subjects will be taught by Anish sir. Okay, in the core subjects, measurements, EMFT, power system, power electronics, and electrical machines would come. Right? If you want to know more about the batch, then these are the detailed batch orientation video are available. GATE EC 2027 full batch orientation and GATE Electrical 2027 full batch orientation. You can simply type it on YouTube and then simply put PrepFusion here, and you will get this particular video and you will get to know about our courses in more detail. Okay then, yeah. With that, I would like to end this video. Thank you very much. Happy learning.